probably a team that can use him. They're gonna seem like they'll put Matt Stafford on the IR. Skip, they got the young quarterback. They got Wolin. I don't see Skip. He doesn't give you a great chance to win, and that was my only thing. And you and I debated, and we've been debating this for 3, 4 years, 5 years now.
Yep.
About he and Sam Darnold.
Yep.
And my only point is he's not exponentially better. If he is at all better than Sam Darnold, it's not to the levels that people tried to make it seem. Skip, they started tracking QBR in 2006. Out of 525 quarterbacks that's qualified in a season since they've been tracking it, Baker Mayfield, 18.2 this year, is 520 out of 521. Only Jimmy Clausen's 13.8 was lower. His 57% completion percentage is the lowest of his career. He threw 6 touchdowns with 6 interceptions. And only Davis Mills is the next closest, but he's 11 points clear of what Baker is. He's a guy. And that's all I've tried to explain to you. I take no consolation. I hate that the guy got released yesterday, but he wanted this because he went from being a starter, Skip, to all of a sudden he wasn't going to even dress. And I get it. I like, come on, man. That's humiliating. I mean, you're not going to let me dress. I mean, what am I here for? I'm not just going to run scout team. But I just don't know where, like I said, Skip, the thing that Perkins was the quarterback and he wasn't, and they put Wolin in. So I'm going to say the Rams, just off the top of my head. I haven't really, thought about but I think he going to probably get about 1.3 more million of his salary. But Skip, I don't see where he goes, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, yeah, we glad we got him. Even if he doesn't play a whole lot for us this year, we can stash him away until next year. I don't see that happening, Skip. So I'm going to jump out there on the limb. I'm going to say the Rams.
Okay. First limb I'm going to jump out on is the 49er limb because, as Jen just pointed out, Kyle Shanahan said yesterday, we look into everything, but that would surprise me right now. Well, I think that's pretty much indication that he is not going to the San Francisco 49ers. Okay, so, Mr. Sharp, I ask you, what happened in the offseason last year? There was this quarterback that some of us actually think is the GOAT quarterback who was on the market last year, and I'm pretty sure he didn't just kick the tires in San Francisco. I think he wanted to go home and finish his last couple of years as a 49er of the team that he grew up loving in the Montana Clark days. And the Shanahans did not want any part of Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr. because that's not how they do business.
No.
They want to run the show with iron fists. They want to keep control. You know, because you grew up under it. You know what it feels like. And Mike rules. He is going to stay in command, and they did not want to give up their whole offense to Brady because you're going to have to tailor to Tom.
You have to run his offense.
All right. So, to me, it wasn't surprising. They don't want a Baker Mayfield because Baker's going to come. He's too big a celebrity, in part because he hasn't earned it, obviously, on the football field. But in all the commercials, he's still the star of all the Nissan Heisman House commercials, which shocks me. But he was the big star for 4 straight years of the Progressive commercials. Fortunately, those have gone away now because he has gone away from Cleveland. But the point is, that they don't want Baker Mayfield coming in there because he's going to create too much buzz. It's going to be too big a distraction. They just want Brock Purdy. They just want somebody that they can mold in their image that will do it the way they want to do it, which is why they drafted Trey Lance out of North Dakota State. They want to mold him because he can be really good. His skill set is perfectly matched to the way Kyle runs the football as well as throws the football. And Jimmy G was actually perfect for them because Jimmy G's got low ego. He just and he was sort of just happy to be there, and they were happy to still have him after Trey Lance was gone for the year. Okay, so there's no way they want a Baker Mayfield in the San Francisco offense. Okay, now back to what happened here. And again, you keep throwing the QBR stats at me from this year, but I will go to my grave saying Baker proved he can play in the league. He proved it when he was a raw rookie, when he won 7 games for a team that had just gone 0-16. You liked him when he was a rookie. You could see that he was confident to the point of being cocky, and they thrived on Baker Mayfield.
But the part that I try to get you to understand, Skip, is that you just can't say, okay, I did it, now I'm here, I don't have to do anything else. You have to reprove it.
Okay, I got it. And then he goes through the whole ordeal with Odell, who he loved, and I think they loved each other. And for whatever whatever reason, it didn't click. Then Odell gets hurt in 2020, and Baker goes on another big run, and they go 11-5 that year, and he wins their first playoff game since 1994. And he was really good in that playoff game, and he was good in that stretch. And to me, he proved in that stretch, yeah, he can really play, because he was 20 touchdowns, only 3 interceptions. Okay, so now what happened this year in Carolina? Well, he goes to a team that in the offseason power rankings was dead last in the power rankings.
Yeah, and I told you.
And he thinks, oh, I can do this. No, you can't do this. You got one shot. You're going to get to play your ex-team, the Browns, in the opener in your new house, right? Mm-hmm. Baker's house is the stadium. Welcome to Baker's house. And what happens? He goes crazy in the fourth quarter and throws for 155 yards and brings them all the way back to a 24-23 lead. And then they get 2 horrendous calls. He gets completely robbed and jobbed on 2 calls that sets up 8. What was how far was the field goal? 58. It was a 58 by Cade York. Jen knows him because he came the rookie out of LSU. And he thunderfoots it through, and he's had a rough year now for the Browns because I think he's 19-25, so he's missed a bunch of kicks.
Right.
He hasn't been flawless, but boy, he hit that kick.
One.
And then Baker goes up to New York, and I thought he played well enough to beat a very good Giants team up in New York. And Graham Gano makes a 54-yarder to beat him at the buzzer, 16-13. And then bad goes to worse. And all those stats are exactly right. He lost confidence. They lost confidence in him. But all the quotes I read from a lot of his teammates yesterday, I think they really liked him. I'm reading these Shaq Thompson quotes. He said Baker was a great locker mate, a great teammate. I wish the outcome had been better for him here because he was really loved in this locker room and great energy, positive energy. And then Austin Corbett, who he played with at Cleveland, also a teammate there, they just raved about him. And I do think teams generally like Baker Mayfield. Okay, so where is he now? What's the next step? Well, is he better than the 2 quarterbacks that they've started for the Houston Texans? Yes, he is. Right. He's just better than them. Do I want to see him go to Houston and repeat this again? What's the point, right?
Right.
Okay, so then new coach, Steve Wilks takes over in Carolina. So what happened? He got his one last hurrah shot. And I read something on ESPN the other day.
Against Baltimore, right?
Yes, at Baltimore. And the ESPN story said you could argue the Panthers didn't play to Mayfield's strengths like the Browns did in 2020 when they committed to running the football to take pressure off the quarterback. But even with a commitment to run in Mayfield's only start under Wilks, the quarterback didn't respond. Well, the running game didn't, because they go to Baltimore, and it's a cold, windy day, high winds, winds 20 miles an hour and above. That day, they ran 17 times for 34 yards. Well, in the previous 4 games, and it was PJ starting most of those. I think he started all those 4 games, PJ Walker.
Yeah.
Well, they averaged 160 yards rushing. So that day at Baltimore, they rushed 17 times for 34 yards. Well, you're going to have a hard time.
Well, remember, I told you that. Remember during that winning streak? Yeah. When Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt was running the air out of the ball? You were telling me it was Baker Mayfield.
Okay, but he threw 20 touchdowns, only 3 interceptions.
Yes, but they ran the air out of the ball.
Okay.
So now, the play action is there. Okay. So what I'm saying, Skip, he's not a guy that if things are not ideal, you get Chubb, you get Hunt. Yeah, Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb running the football. You have an outstanding offensive line, and we know Cleveland had one of the better offensive lines. And you have so everything has to be perfect in order for him to succeed.
Although it's star-crossed. He can't get a break because at Baltimore, remember, it's 3-all. In a high wind game in the middle of the third quarter. And if we could see the throw that he made to Terrace Marshall, this is a sweet throw. This hits him right in the hands in the end zone. You have to catch this. This is going to put you ahead 10-3. Okay, I just don't know how you can throw it any better. And all of a sudden, the Panthers are going to be up 10-3, and he drops it. Hits him right in the hands. Okay, well, you need some momentum because Baker's got front runner in him in a good way where if you get off hot, if they'd beaten Cleveland in the first game, he's Pied Piperish. You follow him because he's high energy, and here we go. And it's a lot of intangibles. Well, you need to get ahead of Baltimore 10-3, and instead they fell apart.
Well, Skip, I don't know how well you can play quarterback if you need so many variables to be right. I need to get the lead so that I can relax and calm down. I need to be able to run the football. I need it to be 72 degrees, the sun out, and not a cloud in the sky. There's too many things in order for him to succeed to say, okay, let's invest in him.
Okay. Again, Sam Darnold, he's better than Sam Darnold. And I think he's proven over time.
all.
Well, look what he did in Cleveland.
Sam Darnold has never gotten cut.
Okay, well, Sam Darnold hasn't been very good his whole career.
Sam Darnold hasn't gotten released.
Okay, well, Odell got released.
Baker went from wanting $250 million to being released in 18 months. Skip, Cleveland says, okay, we've seen enough over 4 years. We're moved on. Carolina said...
What have you ever seen from Sam Darnold? And, you know, I told you before the draft, Sam Darnold can't play. I was on record before the draft. I said he cannot play.
Yeah.
And they will find out in Carolina he cannot play.
But that's the thing.
He'll be on the street.
But here's the thing. But you're making it seem like they just cut Tom Brady. He can't play either.
Well, I've seen him play for long stretches. Long stretches. He's proven to me he can play at a much higher level than Sam Darnold
Skip,
can.
you do know he's not medicine. Medicine is like makes things subside for an extended period of time. No, I want him to play well all the time. He doesn't. I can't have, if I got Nick Chubb and I can average 170 yards a game running the football, if I got one of the 5 best offensive lines and it's a clear day, Baker Mayfield can do rep. I can't base my offense on all those great variables.
Okay, but there were no variables involved when he went to Pittsburgh and won a playoff game against your arch rival with a QBR of 91. That was vintage Baker Mayfield.
Skip, there are sometimes you can replicate something. Michael Jackson could never replicate Thriller again.
Well, he's still Michael Jackson.
And he's still Baker Mayfield.
Is Baker in Michael's category?
There you go. He had an outstanding performance. But see, Michael Jackson could always lean back on the Jackson 5. He could also go back to off the wall. He could also go back to bad. He could always go back to, what can he go back to? You tell me that one year. See, you give me 1 year. You gave me 1 year. You gave me 11 games. What about the other 60 games?
So you're saying 2020 was Thriller. That's pretty good.
No.
That's what I think you just said.
No.
I'll take that.
It was, what it was, let's see. It was Ice Baby. He was Vanilla Ice. It never had another hit.
Hey.
He was Milli Vanilli.
Hey.
Girl, you know it's true.
Hey, Ice Baby was really good. It's highly underrated.
It's not you.
Even though he got sued for the hook.
You know what I'm saying, Skip? He Milli Vanilli. Had us all, had you fooled.
Because I hate to
Well,
interrupt
is he
the
Robbie
serenade.
or is he Milli Vanilli?
I watched that story. I thought I had to bought that CD too, Skip. I thought they was singing up a storm.
Shannon, I give you major props for singing on air. Great job.